Hello and welcome to Contractor Success Tips. Today's guest is Lott with Lott Homes.
Welcome to Contractor Success Tips, and we have a very special guest today. This man has done something that I haven't seen anybody else do ever, and I've been doing this for 35 years, which makes me an old guy, right? So our guest is Lott, and he has done something that is absolutely amazing. So I'm Paul Sandeman. I've been doing this for 35 years. I'm a business coach. We do a lot of other stuff. We work with, 50, 60 companies, recruit for more than that. So David, why don't you introduce yourself?
David Lutberger. I'm in Boulder, Colorado. I was a full service contractor till about 25 years ago, full design build. And now working with Paul, do business coaching and consulting. And when the market is open, I speak at trade shows. But every trade show visit stopped in March, and they are yet to pick up again. So I may see you at a future show. Time will tell.
Right. Brett, tell me about yourself.
So my name is Lott, and our business is Lott Homes. Keep it personal to us, from Tri-Cities, Washington State. And I'm coming up on my 30th year of being in business. And we do semi-custom and custom homes, new construction, no remodeling or anything like that. So it's just all basically new construction.
Okay, so we do these podcasts, for lots of builders across the country, and we interview people first. And our normal format is we help people with their business, and we do that on the air, sort of a contractor makeover thing. But occasionally we come across somebody who doesn't need to be made over, I guess. It happens once in a while. So we talked to Brett, and Brett really got me with the beginning. I said, we always ask how many employees you have, what's your gross sales projected next year. And so he said three things that just amazed me. One was, been in business a long time. Two is he's projected to do 8 million. And the clincher was he has 3 employees and he doesn't want any consulting help. And oh my God, how's this guy pull this off? So I think a lot of people out there would love to know, how in the heck does a guy do $8 million in business with 3 employees? You might put my recruiting business out of business, by the way, if you do this. Maybe anyhow, so Brett, can you tell us your story?
Well, I think you're giving me too much credit for what everything is, but I started, we've always stayed relatively small. And the story of starting in the beginning was just, my father was a contractor, my father-in-law was a contractor, and I swore that I would never be a contractor because I watched all the challenges, difficulties, the ups and downs with the economy. And my father-in-law finally did an end run around me and went to my wife and said, hey, we need to talk Brett into doing this. And so we built a house, moved into it, sold it, built another house, moved into it. And so
that comes under happy wife, happy life, right?
That's right. When they have that look in their eye, if there's any advice I could give you, is when she has that look in her eye, just give it up and follow.
Yeah, just whatever you say, dear.
Yeah, just a moot point with that.
That's right.
So for the first 10 years that we were in business, I kept another full-time job, and we built 2 or 3 houses a year. Wanting to stay conservative, always worried about doing that full-time. But then in 2000, we went to doing the construction full-time. So we've been doing that for about 20 years now, full-time.
So tell me about your growth, how you're able to grow without growing the number of employees. I mean, that fascinates me.
Well, one of the things you have to realize, those gross numbers are larger numbers because we do homes. So, if we do a $500,000 home, $500,000 is a pretty significant amount of money, but that's just one project for us. So
right.
It's not like if we were doing remodeling projects and they were all $60 or $80 or $100,000 projects, and we'd have 4 or 5 or 6 projects going at one time or something like that. So we're allowed to be more that allows us to be more focused on less projects for more money.
Right, but you're a spec builder, right? I mean, basically, you don't. Did you pre-sell houses, or do you get them built and then sell them once they're built?
So we do both. So, diversity, I think, in a company is really important. And so diversity could be, well, we do remodeling and we do new construction. And diversity is we have an excavation company, plus we do construction. Our diversity comes in that we do speculation homes, meaning we just build a home from the ground up and we decide on everything, buy the land, and we hope that we sell it at some point.
Right.
And the other is we do pre-sale homes. So we have land and somebody will come and go, hey, we want to build your plan B on lot 3, and it's a pre-sale. Call it what you want. It's still a custom home from the beginning because they're making selections and stuff, but that's a pre-sale. And then we build that. And then we also have custom homes. So someone would come to us and say, we've got a piece of property. This is our plan. We want to customize it the way that we want from the ground up. And it's very customized. And so we do that. So right now, we've probably got about 10 or 11 homes in process. And we have homes in each one of those categories that we're doing.
Now, what are your margins on homes? Like, if you do a spec house or build, I mean, obviously you do custom builds, you do specs, and you do spec where they put your house on their lot and they just take what your house is, right? Those are 3 options.
So are we talking a net or a gross?
No, I'm just talking of your. Let's say if you do a spec house, what percentage of margin do you hope to make on a spec house when it's all said and done? Gross margin.
So it's going to vary because sometimes some are kind of more value homes and some are maybe a little upper end homes. It depends on the development that we have that they're working in. So I would say probably spec, pre-sale, custom homes are probably all going to range in a gross margin, probably anywhere in about the 13 to 22% range.
Okay. So that's the margin. I know a lot of people that are getting the same margin, but they have a bunch of people to do it. So do you use like Co-Constructor, Procore, or any kind of web-based system? Buildertrend. Okay.
I will say, if you ask me in the 30 years that I've been building, what is the one most significant thing that has happened that will affect what you do in business? And I would say project management software. We use Buildertrend, Co-Construct. There's several out there. I'm sure they're all very similar and competitive and do really well. We've had really good success with Buildertrend and we've really liked it. That's not a commercial for them. It's just
how much I think Buildertrend and Co-Construct are about the same. I think Procore is better if you work with architects. Not too sure about UDA. We have clients that use all this stuff, so it's all good. We just say do something, right? Don't try to do it the other way. Do something. So the question I would ask you is, if you do this, normally show me your organizational chart, because I can't figure out how you get 12 houses in construction with 3 people. I just don't understand that. Can you help me there?
Well, let's take, for instance, really, you got me as an owner. I've got 2 project managers and an office administrator. And one project manager I've had for 2 years. The other one I've had in the last 6 months, and the office administrator in the last 6 months. So for many years, a lot of it has been a one-man show. And so, I would say probably, if anything, I don't have a lot of talents, but if I had one talent, it's probably being able to keep a lot of balls in the air at the same time. Mm-hmm. And as a business owner, you realize that. But then I also got to the point, it's like, well, I can't always do everything. And how do I have a life for myself and stuff like that? But for a lot of years, I just made it work. And if it's like, well, this needs to be done, how do I do it? Well, you just put in more hours. So, the kids go to bed at 9 o'clock, you go back to the computer and work till 12 or 1 in the morning or something like that.
How many hours a week do you work now, Brett?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm saying I'm probably between, on a work week, I'm probably 40 to 50 hours a week.
That's
so
great.
I have a normal 8-hour day, but then early in the morning, a lot of times in the evening, or several hours on Saturday or something like that. But it used to be I've never worked on Sundays. So before I've had several employees, it wasn't nothing for me to put in 60 hours a week.
Sure.
So, question: your organizational structure, there's you, an admin assistant, two project managers. Normally, in a lot of companies, one project manager is not capable of doing. They're doing like 3 or 4 houses each, right? Easy, maybe 5.
Yeah, well, see, that's where Builder Trend comes in. And so for me before, when I could do 3 or 4 homes, pre-sale custom kind of homes on my own, and I would have it all organized and doing that. And you got to remember, I mean, us people that have been in business a long time, when I started building, there was no cell phones, there was no email. If you were in town and you had to make a change, you either went home or you found a phone booth and put a quarter in, and so the significance of being able to have all the jobs out there and in a project management software to where all the subs know when everything's going to happen. So a sub can look at one of my jobs and he knows 3 months from now that he has to be there to lay carpet on that day. And if it's going to change, he's going to get a notification that's going to change. And I don't have to go through a whole process of calling people and saying, and so that's been a big part of it. Another big part of it has been relationships. So I've got subcontractors that I've had for literally a quarter of a century,
Wow.
and many of them for 10 to 20 years. And so I'm not out babysitting every subcontractor and every project. I mean, we still manage. You still have to be on every job every day and seeing what's going on, and because people are people and employees are employees. But I've got people that I know. They know what we do. They know how we operate. We know how we work, and so those subcontractors become almost like employees because they're so helpful in the process of what they do and how they help us work.
Because a lot of companies your size will have like a selections coordinator, somebody that helps the client pick out the various, finishes and that kind of thing. Who does that for you?
So our office administrator helps in that process tremendously. In fact, we've had some recent projects. If we wouldn't have had her, I don't know how we would have survived the whole process. But because some pretty big customized homes. But we have again subcontractors that we use that. So we're not making we don't have an in-house selection process. So they'll go to the designer that is for all the surfaces, the flooring and the paint and the cabinetry and colors, countertops, all that. And so that designer is going to help them through that whole process, and they go and meet with them.
Brett, does that designer work for you as an
No,
employee? Is that a
no,
separate person?
nope, they're not an employee. So they work at a flooring company, and they know that their responsibility is to help the customer with that process. So like the company that we're buying the cabinets from, they meet with the cabinet designer and they go through the cabinet design process, and they go to the lighting store and meet with the lighting salesperson and pick out the light fixtures. So we're not having a one-stop shop. We've got multiple places that they go and do that. Probably a little more cumbersome and a little less control, but it also makes it so I don't have to have full-time employees just working on selections all the time.
So
Okay.
you have designated reps at each of your key suppliers.
Yeah, so even in our contract, we'll say, okay, you're going to meet with Sarah. It's not just go down to this store and
Right.
talk to
Right.
whoever. And
Right.
she knows our deal. She knows what we do. She knows how we work, what our standards are. So if they're working on something, she can tell them. She can just let them know that, okay, this is going to be over your allowance because you're picking this kind of thing, and she can guide them through that process, and we don't have to be
Great.
So
us doing that.
what do you do, Brett, with the online shopper? I mean, the person that goes, hey, I went online, I found this really cool refrigerator or woof range or whatever, and they decide, they want to buy the range themselves, they want to buy some light fixtures they found, and they decide they're going to go online and help you out.
Yeah, that is a good question. That is discussed in the very beginning. And if they're that person, then I tell them that we're not the right builder for them. So we just, every once in a while, I fold
I
and
hear
I
you.
allow someone to buy an appliance or a light fixture. And every single time I regret it. And then
Yeah.
usually the people are saying, you were right. We should have listened to you. And so if they say, hey, we got a brother-in-law that does HVAC and we want to buy our appliances online, I just say, I'm just not that builder, and you need to find a different builder to work with, because this is how we operate. We work well. We know what it is. We can control it. We can warranty it, and you'll have a
Your
better
protocol is
outcome.
either buy from our people or I won't build a house for
Right, in a nice way.
you.
Yeah.
Right. But it's still my way or the highway in a pleasant way, right?
Yeah, one of the things I think about trying to become the expert in your area of a builder, so you try and build that reputation, so people will look at you and go, oh, okay, well, if you really want things done right and you really want the builder, this is the one. And so you're trying to reach that level, and in that process, you're trying to help people say, if you want the best outcome, if you want to have a good experience, this is what we do. If you want to do something different, then you're going to need to find a different builder somewhere else to work
Now,
You know,
do you work with architects or do you design yourself?
with. We have designers, not in-house, but designers that we work with. So if it's really a custom house and they go, hey, we want to draw a plan, then we have a designer that we work with. Actually, one of them's just right next door to us, and they can work with them and do the design, and then we can price everything and go from there. So we're really kind of outsourcing a lot of stuff, which makes us so we're not kind of like employee heavy with those things.
Right.
Do people come to you with architectural plans saying, we've heard about you, we've already got a plan, can you build this house?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
And sometimes if they go, yeah, we've got someone from another city that drew this plan for us, and I just say, well, if you want me to build it, we would have to have that redrawn locally. So we've got designers that we would work with from this area, but we wouldn't ever say buy a plan online or have it designed
So Tim,
somewhere.
if you bought this plan online for $2,000, can you build it? Right? You don't do that.
No, we don't. We wouldn't do that. Where we live, there's 3 cities. It's called Tri-Cities, and in that 3 cities, there's between the county and the city building departments. We've got 6 different building jurisdictions within a 20-minute drive, and each one of those has a different expectations for codes, unfortunately. And so our local designers will draw plans differently for each jurisdiction. So there's no way someone's going to bring a set of plans from another state or online that's going to be able to meet what we do here in the different jurisdictions.
So that brings up another issue. How do you do marketing? Because some people have a full-time marketing person, other people have less. I mean, now I'm not sure now it's fair, because now it's like, everybody wants a house and they can't find enough people to build it. I call it the COVID, I don't know, COVID demand or something. It's crazy out there now. But not given the current circumstances, because if you're not busy now, you're not in business. What have you done in the past for marketing? Because most people spend some effort to get those houses to build.
That's a good question. So, no in-house marketing. Again, it's kind of, we've just done stuff on our own. A web presence is definitely right at the top of the priority, and having a very good web presence.
Let's divert for a second. On web presence, well, let's talk about other things. I want to go back to your website, because I'd like you to go over your website and explain to the audience and they can see it. But let's talk about what else you do besides, SEO and web presence and stuff.
So what's the question again? So we're not going to talk
your total marketing plan. How do you get all your leads?
I don't know. So we focus on the web, we focus on social media marketing, and we just pick a couple like Facebook and Instagram, and we just kind of consistently work with that. Signage is really important for us at the job sites because we're a small community, so people drive around and they see the signs. So if they can see you, if they can do a search, they're going to see you. A lot of times when I meet with someone, I go, well, let me tell you a little bit about our company. And they're like, no, that's okay. We've already stalked you online. We've gone past that part. We picked you. We already know everything about you. And so the things that happen online are really important. We're members of the local home builders association. We participate in the parade of homes. So people come through and they see your parade home. You've got some awards. There's just a touch of presence there that mean way more to them than if they saw an advertisement or heard an advertisement on the radio or saw something that's like, hey, come down and buy a home from Brett Lott Homes or something.
Now, do you have do you have a marketing company that does this for you? You do your own? How do you do your marketing?
No, we haven't done that. So we'll outsource. Like we've got a company that we work with a website, and we've got another company that will make our signs and stuff. So if there's something we're trying to do, we'll go to one of those companies and say, well, hey, will you create a video for us, or will you print up these marketing brochures or something? But we have just never spent the money on marketing. And frankly, because we've been in business a long time and we have a reputation, we've really been pretty busy. So it's not like we're always out there going, man, if we don't get any more business, we're going to die. We've kind of really had most of the business that we want.
Well, I guess being in business 30 years in the same place is a real advantage, right? Because you have a brand.
Yeah.
And you have a brand that's recognized in your community. So you can sort of count on your brand to carry your company a lot, where a lot of people can't do that. They haven't been there 30 years, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we got your website up here. Can you go through with us and just explain, sort of why you did what you did and that kind of thing? So can you see the website there yourself on your screen?
I can.
So let's start with the home page. So let's go to the About page, David, just for the heck of it.
Okay, there's 4 different drop downs. What should we look at? Our process?
Well, let's start with Brett Homes because that's the first one.
Yep. You'll find in our web page. It's pretty simple. We're not, again, we're not like a big production builder, and we've got all these developments and all these different things. It's just an introduction to say, okay, you need to know who we are, and a little bit of what we're about, the things that we offer as far as like semi-custom or custom homes. And we just want to show them a little bit of our product and give them lots of opportunity to click on something to get to us.
Right. A lot of call to actions.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of call to actions.
Let's go to after About. Let's go to the process page for fun. You want to do that, David?
Yeah, you've done quite well also with the parade of homes. I mean, that speaks for itself.
Well, it's kind of a funny story because for years when I was first in business, every once in a while someone from the HBA would come around and say like, hey, you want to sign up for the HBA? And it's like, no, why would I spend that money? What are they doing for me? I just didn't see the value. If I was going to pay $200 or $300, it's like, no, that $300 means a lot to me. And once I joined the HBA, and then I'm like, oh, what a fool I've been. I should have been doing this from the very beginning. That was stupid. So I would say that should be one of the first things you do is not only run down and join the HBA, but you should also become involved. So volunteer, try and be on the board. I'm a past HBA president, had been on the board for quite a few years. And then if you can, be involved in the parade of homes. In our parade, we've got anywhere between 6,000 and 10,000 people.
Wow.
Come through our homes. So, and I'm there. So I know a lot of builders, they have a parade home, but they have a realtor there or an employee there. And people just like to meet the builder. You just got to be there and be available and be willing to talk to them. And that means a lot.
Okay, so let's go through your building process here. You want to do that, David? Let's see. So it is one. Is it step like 1, 2, 3, 4? How's this done?
Yeah. So you got number 1. I'll follow your lead, Brett.
Well, I would just say, the steps or the processes are really pretty simple. And there is, as you and I know, there's a lot of steps in between that are not captured there. But in these 4 steps, it just people kind of need to see, so how does this work? Because we got to remember that people may only build a house one time in their whole life. So they're not the resident experts. And we got to remember that a lot of times we get caught up in like, this is a job, this is what we do. And we need to remember to kind of keep it simple for the people. And then later on, when we start in the process, we can start detailing some of the extra steps that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So let's back up. So we've got about, what else is under about? We got process, testimony. So you also give to charity, right? That's in there too, right?
Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit of something that we've done there. The charity house was an idea that Sandra and I, my wife, come up with a few years ago. And we thought, well, we feel really fortunate. We want to find a way to give back to our community, but we just don't have time to like go and volunteer and serve on boards or do something like that. And so I thought, well, the thing that we do best is build houses. So why not use what we do to be able to help the charity? So what we did is we had a charity house, and the proceeds of the profit, we selected two charities, and the proceeds of the profit went to the two charities. So then we invited the suppliers and subcontractors to participate voluntarily. And every bill that I got, $500 off, $2,000 off. And so all those added to the profit at the end. In the end, we sold the house and whatever the profit was. And so we were able to give two checks, each for about $25,000 to two different charities. And, a lot of people would say, well, you gave away almost $50,000. And it's like, oh, it was really a way for us to give back. And all along the way, just the networking and the people that we met. And
well, I would definitely call that marketing. You know what I mean? That would definitely be.
It's just like anything in life, anytime you try and do something good, there's always something good that comes back.
Right.
And there's definitely good that come back, but we weren't doing it for the purpose of marketing. We were doing it generally to give to the charities. Right. Definitely some good came from all that.
Great. Okay, let's move to the next. What's the next topic here?
So custom homes.
So just as an example of some custom homes.
Just an example of custom homes.
Just for curiosity, have you ever considered using a Matterport? Because that's sort of the latest, coolest thing, or do you think that would make a difference?
Yes, I have. And so we've actually gone away from the Matterports. We had several homes that we did Matterports with. And at first it's like, oh, this is great. This is really cool. People can see the homes. But then we had a couple homes where people were, they're kind of like, oh, we love this home. We want to build this exact same home. And we're like, well, all right, we can do that. So we would be actually walking through their home, and they would have their phone, and they would pull up their Matterport, and they would zoom in on some detail, and they're going, this isn't like this in the other home. This is different. And so we come to the realization that we're a custom builder. This is artwork. We can't build the same home twice.
Interesting.
The millwork guy is not going to build the coat bench the same way. If he did it 3 times, he's going to do it a little different.
Sure.
3 different times. And the expectation is that they wanted their house to look like this, and they had it in their pocket, and they could zoom in on every little detail. So we've kind of gone away from the Matterport and just kind of back to focusing more on professional pictures. I would really recommend any builder to make sure they hire a professional photographer and get good professional pictures of the projects.
Yeah, your iPhone doesn't work for that. Okay, and then let's move on to there's semi-custom homes.
Well, and I've got an interesting question, Brett, with Builder Trend. Do you use a 360 camera at all?
I haven't. I haven't. There's probably something that we would need to do that would reuse. We have a drone. We'll take some videos that we can post on Builder Trend. We take a lot of pictures of the houses, so there could be 300 or 400 pictures when we're all done. Just before we insulate, we take a picture of every wall. The customers love it, but actually I can't tell you how many times later on in the process we've had to go back and look at those pictures.
Right. Well, Matterport works really good for that too. I mean, if you go and we have a guy that actually does his framing inspections with a Matterport. They buy into it, so he can send the Matterport of the framing, and the inspector will buy off on it without ever showing up. So sort of cool.
Really?
Yep. Because it's detailed enough that, especially with the whole COVID thing, they'd rather not show up and they accept the
Yeah.
Matterport photo to do the framing inspection.
So does he have his own Matterport camera? Because they're not cheap.
There's no Matterport camera yet.
Mhm.
And I'm sure it pays for itself. And they're only like $3,000. So one framing inspection, it pays for itself, right? Because things get done faster. So let's see now, what is your normal price per square foot? I'm just curious. I'm sure people ask you that.
Yeah. I tell people it's kind of like coming out of the grocery store with a bag of groceries and you say, what's the price per square inch of the groceries that you have in your bag?
Right.
Well, I don't know. What'd you buy? Did you buy bread? Did you buy vegetables? Or did you buy prime rib? So, we're probably homes that with the land and the house and everything are probably ranging in the $200 to $250 a square foot range.
Okay, which is very reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
I know. Yeah, it's so hard because you're talking to the guy that when I started building homes, 1,500 square foot homes for the land and the house was selling for $79,900. So
Yeah.
Whoa.
I can't even buy land for $79,900 now.
Well, since we work with 50 builders around the country at any one given time, and the highest I know is San Francisco. San Francisco is running 1,000 to 1,200 a foot, and then I've got guys in Springfield, Illinois, that are running about 125 a foot. So
Wow.
it's range. It's crazy.
That's a big range.
It's crazy.
That's great.
So let's see, homes for sale. These are the houses you built, right?
Well, I just clicked on the portfolio.
Okay.
So these are just different shots of different finishes, Brett?
Yep. They're just pictures. People can browse through the pictures and kind of see some of the work that we do. And usually people will call and say, oh, I looked at some of their pictures. They're beautiful. That's why I'm saying having good professional photography pictures is really important.
So you're like not high end, not track, sort of like, I'm going to call it the semi-custom build, right? The upper middle kind of place for your market.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not the multi-million-dollar, indoor pool, luxury, 20-foot ceilings kind of guy. So
do you ever market to architects at all? Because one of the things that we do, we've seen very successful, and you may not need to do it, is we found that if you have a lot of architects that send you work, that's a source of business. But have you ever cultivated that, or do you care?
So I have a pretty good relationship with the designers. So we kind of a touchy subject, but the designers are they're different than the architects, and we just really haven't had great experience with the architects because they're just so they just design people out of their price ranges for what
there is. There's sort of people. There's like these two camps in the universe. One says, designers usually overbuild a house and they don't keep to a budget and all that kind of stuff. We know, but they design to the dream, not the budget. And then a lot of times designers design to the budget. So you've obviously found a niche that works for you, which is designers that actually design to the budget, right?
Yeah. So the designers work good for us, and yeah, like say the architects. If we were building multi-million-dollar homes and stuff like that, then the architects were probably more of an option. But the designers are definitely who we usually kind of work with, and so we've got a good relationship with all of them.
Great. And
so is this a spec home you have for sale?
Yes, that is a spec home we have for sale. That's a picture of a previous home because the spec home is under construction, but that is a home that we have for sale right now.
Okay. And so that's how many square foot is that? 539. How many square foot's a house?
The house is 2,324 square feet, about 2,300. Oh, a broken link.
That's no kidding.
Well, I can right? So I go back to the site.
Yeah, so that was that when I clicked on the listing, Brett.
We're actually just in the process of making some changes, revamping some things on our website. So you may find a couple things like that right now.
Can you go back?
I'm trying to go back.
Hold on, so we can get back.
I couldn't. The back button didn't work. So let's go back to the home page.
Okay. So now
there we go.
Now we're back to Sotheby's. We don't want to do. That's an interesting house.
Oh my gosh, wrong one.
Let's go back to.
Somehow I got Sotheby's.
Right, we got to go back to his site.
Working on it.
So here we have the frustration of the average buyer, right?
I know, right? That's why if you're trying to keep it smooth and simple and easy, you want to make sure that your web page works well on a mobile device, because probably 80% of
Yeah,
everybody.
because once people go off, it's hard to get them back, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting because I tried to hit the back button on your site and it did not let me go back.
See, there you go. This whole call was worth it because we're finding glitches.
Finally. Okay, good. There's
Reality television, right?
Thank you.
it's the little things, Brett.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't send me a bill for that.
No, that's
No.
we're
That's
good.
part of our consulting. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Homes for sale, then contact, and then any other things we missed on the site here. Let's see, anything else? Contact. So, it seems to me, Brett, that your model here, if I can say it, is you've got a couple things going for you that a lot of other builders don't have. One, you've been building houses for 30 years. You have an incredible reputation in a town. So you're like sort of the guy in your market, right?
Yeah,
So you've
that's
got
what we're shooting for. That's what we're trying to do.
people know people who've built there, and you've done a good job of branding. I like the thing behind your, like that. We're going to do that too, behind you right there. So you've done a good job of branding. You also have great relationships with your subcontractors. Over the years, you sort of have your subcontractors. They're not quite your employees, but they're sort of like your employees, right? They're trusted relationships that you've had for years, so you can count on them to do what they're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. It is, and it is. We look at it as a relationship. This is not a I'm the boss and you're the. We're working on this together, and they understand that there's give and take, and if there's issues that come up, we're working together on it. It's just not like, well, I'm the builder and you're going to do it my way. Or I want them to have a good experience. I want them to feel like I really like coming to work on his homes. They're scheduled well. He pays me on time.
I'm sure, right? That's a big deal, right?
Yeah. The job sites are ready when we get there. We're not fighting with other subs. They just want it. It needs to be a good experience all the way. And there's quite a few times that maybe someone's come through the home and the subcontractor's like, oh, yeah, I work for several builders, but this is the guy that you want to buy your home from. So they'll sell the homes for me.
Great. So, okay, so one is, a solid brand in your community. Second would be an incredible relationship with subcontractor built over many years so you can trust some employees. And I guess the third piece is you've implemented technology like Builder Trend and good photos, and other than the one glitch in your website, just kidding, that you've used technology to your advantage, right?
Yep. Even though I'm the old guy, I've tried to keep up with technology and the changes there. So that's really important because a lot of them are kind of like, don't need to worry about that stuff. It's like, whatever. Everybody's using the latest technology and social media and stuff, so it's important.
Yeah,
So is there a builder trend expert in your office, Brett? Is it you? Is it your office manager?
I would say equally. Everybody knows that they have to learn a lot, and sometimes we all kind of teach each other. And Builder Trend, to their credit, is very good about picking up the phone anytime we have a question and you talk to someone. And
so you have about 80 to 90% implementation of the software, right? It's not like you have fully implemented it, right?
yeah, we have. Well, I don't know. There's so much to it. There are some things that we don't use, but the main things we're using to its fullest. And one of the things that we found, and I will say for those, because a lot of people will get it and they're like, yeah, I don't know, it just really doesn't work very well. And is what I found is some of like the other builders in our area, they don't keep up on the schedule. So pretty soon, within a short amount of time, the subcontractors or suppliers don't trust the schedule because they show up and it's not ready, but it said it was ready because it was on schedule. Or maybe maybe they keep changing stuff. It's like, oh, the framer finished 2 days early. Let's move the plumber up. And then all of a sudden 20 other people get a notification and they're getting two or three notifications a week because they keep changing the schedule. Or we don't do that. We may massage it in the background. We may call the plumber and say, hey, we finished a couple days early if you want to get in there, but we don't change the schedule. We kind of keep it the same as much as we possibly can.
Okay.
Good. So I would say those are the keys to your success. I think you did an awesome job, and I know I fought the technology thing. I've been doing this for 35 years. I remember I came out before cell phones were even popular. People had pagers.
Yeah.
And so I used to tell contractors, you need to, I had the cell phone when you had it in the back of your trunk. Remember there's the one in the back here, there was a radio thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and the contractors that tell me, hey, cell phones, they disturb my peace in the truck. I'm never going to get a cell phone, right? And then email was a fad, and then websites are a waste of time. And so I've been dragging contractors kicking and screaming through technology. And the latest one is web-based software. I say everybody needs it, and they go, well, I can do without it, and it's expensive. It's not expensive; it saves you money. So it is getting contractors through technology is always a challenge because as a group they're a bunch of Luddites as a group, and they just change slowly. But you've done a great job. So, Brett, thank you for being a guest. Do you have any if you could say anything to all the contractors who are listening to this, you give them like one piece of sound advice going, if you don't do anything, at least do this. What would that be?
I would say if you're going to do one thing, I would definitely say, like I said, in my tenure as building has been the project management software. So get it, go through the consequence or the pain of getting it set up, and go through that, because you'll find that everybody and use it correctly, especially the scheduling. The customers love it. The contractors love it. It's just a plus. So if it becomes one of our sales tools, and when we sit down with someone and we go, yeah, if you build a home with this, and we'll show them, we'll bring up a page and say, here's a job that we have under construction. You can see the schedule, you can see pictures, all the documents are there. Our communication, change orders are instantaneous. You can be anywhere in the world and sign your change order on your phone, and we can implement it and do that. You can see all the pricing. And so I would say that's been, bite the bullet and work on that.
Game changer, and actually implement it. Cool. Okay, thanks, Brett. We appreciate your time, and have a great evening.
Okay, thanks. Hopefully it's helpful in some way. So nice talking to you.
It has been. Thank you. I appreciate your sharing your experience, Brett.
Yeah, you bet. You guys have a great day.
You do the same.